Good evening. Happy Friday. Whoops. I'm hitting things, making a mess. I hope everybody had a great week. Just gonna let everything kind of catch up, make sure that we're live before I go too far. I had a great week. I am glad it's Friday. I have a very busy weekend ahead of me. So I just want to make sure, like I said, that everything gets caught up on the thing. Hi, Kate. Hello, hello, hello. Boy, I said the internet's really slow or something tonight because it's not catching up. I mean, I think I'm live, right? There we go. It's kicking in. Hello, Melissa. Now we're live. Okay. Well, I hope everyone had a great week. I'm going to flip my camera over real quick. We're going to flip our camera down already right away. Make sure I can hear myself. So I have to tell you guys first thing, my craft room is a disaster. And it is so messy right now that I'm all out of sorts. So we're going to use the inspiration box tonight. But the first thing I got to do is what I like to do is I want to show the embossing powder of the month. It's called Tinsel Dust. It comes in little packages like this. This is so helpful with shipping. Hi, Amanda. We can get, these are the older jars. I have some left. The new jars look like this. But I'm going to use one of the old jars. Well, I still have them. Okay. So what I like to do is I get the embossing powder. I do not want to keep them in this pouch because I will make a mess with them. They are resealable, but what I do is I just cut the top off. I'm kind of far behind on everything, so I thought this would be something fun to start with. I go ahead and I'm going to put the whole thing in one of these jars, kind of tap it off as much as I can. If I had time this week, I would have had this kind of ready to go, but I do like to kind of show this. And then I'm going to go ahead and I do have a punch that would work, but I'm just going to show you if you don't have a punch, just go ahead and use your scissors and trim around. I trim around both sections. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, which Miss Heather talked to me about, and of course I just put my swatch dots somewhere. Where did they go? This is the swatch dots. And I do is grab a cover, stick it down. It's just double-sided adhesive. Pull that little release paper off and stick the title right on. Hi, Mama. How are you? All right, so here is what the embossing powder looks like. I got to move my mouse here because it's in the middle of my screen. It's really pretty. So let's see how bad of a mess we make because my fan is going full blown because it got warm today. Here, I had a piece of paper, of course. Like I said, my room is such a mess right now. My son is going to come over tomorrow and help me move furniture out because last weekend I wasn't live. I had a pre-recorded video because I went crafting with some girlfriends, including Sandy from the team. And I got to stop at IKEA and buy some furniture to replace some hand-me-down furniture that I've had. So I have more crafty furniture now that I kind of have an actual room and not just a front porch. I have all of the boxes sitting here. I wasn't out in the mood to start building anything this weekend. So my son is going to come help me. He volunteered to move my furniture out, my old furniture out for me. So he is supposed to come tomorrow. So I'm going to move all this extra embossing powder off, and then we're going to get into crafting right away. Okay? But I just wanted to show this, what it looks like. So we're going to quick heat set this. This is a free download in our digital section. If you would like to have it, I like to do them. I have them by the month. And I just stick the swatch dots on there, and then that way I can refer back to them. Make sure it's all heat set. And look at, hello, Karen. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at how sparkly it is. It's going to be hard to see on camera. It's super sparkly. Super, super sparkly. And then you can kind of see what it would look like on a dark cardstock and a white cardstock. So it's called Tinsel Dust. So I'm not going to use it tonight, but I did want to share how it looked because I usually do this ahead of time, but I haven't had a chance. So I wanted you guys to see it. Now, what we're going to do tonight is inspiration box. Now, I think there were a few left in stock. It's called City Sidewalk. Last week, my pre-recorded video used the winter, what was it called? Winter Home and Flurry of Snow. And I made this card with it, which is a coordinating. Okay, of course, my mouse is in the middle. These coordinate well with this, but we are going to quickly open this. We're not going to spend a lot of time going over the contents of it, but this is what we're going to use tonight. I want to just, other than ink, pretty much just use what's in this box. There may be one other thing we use, and of course, maybe some paper, but we're going to go real quick. We got some frost glitter. I know Christopher did an unboxing, and I usually do an unboxing video and record it, but I just got it while I was gone, so I have not had a chance. It's been a busy, busy week. So we're going to just pull it all out. I like to keep my embossing or my inspiration boxes in the plastic bag until the end of the month. And then when I get the next one, I put things away. So I have some of the extra cardstocks here. I do not know all the names right now. So you got 3 of our 8.5 by 11 cardstocks. Oh, thanks, Susan. Tomorrow, my goal, other than to put my craft room together and move my old furniture out, is to swatch the old cardstocks. I have so many plans to tomorrow, so I have to get up early. We've got this beautiful stencil. And this is a piece of one of our new holographic cardstocks. You got a sample of that. And I'm not exactly sure if this is another piece. I just, like I said, I just got the box. I haven't watched it, but look at how pretty that is. It looks like one of our holographic cardstocks. We've got the Mid-Tone Magic paper pad. I'm not going to open the whole thing. I'll just kind of show you, try not to blind you. It's got all these wonderful city scenes. And if you don't know how I like to just cut the tops off, and then I can store all my papers inside while I'm using them. And then you get your card bases, of course, which are made out of Perfect Blend. I'm just going to stick those out of the way for right now. And then we have our card, our stamp set called City Sidewalk. Now, in the description box below, I have linked the inspiration box. I did link the SVG and this City Sidewalk, and then I linked the pick 3 for subscriptions. Those are all our affiliate links, which just means if you do place an order using one of those links, I get a small little kickback, I guess is the best way to say that. So this is a fun stamp set, and so I thought we would just use this tonight and see where we go. We're just going to say I'm going to use what's in the paperwork. So first thing I want to do is grab my Misty. And what I thought we would do is I did cut a piece of our Perfect Blend down with a die cut, a square. I mean, I guess I really didn't need to. I didn't do anything fancy with it. But I thought maybe we'd create this little scene and just see how things go. So I thought it would be fun. I think I want to do the the kids with the snowballs. So we're going to stamp them out. And I'm thinking maybe I'm going to put them like this. And then I think for some fun, we're also going to stamp the snowman. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't think I want to do that. So yeah, we're going to use these 2 here. And then maybe we'll put I just haven't decided quite yet what I wanted to do. Let's start with those, okay? Because we may end up cutting stuff out and, doing this. Now, like I said, I have all the little pieces cut and stamped, and I will actually show you. We can go ahead and do those too if you've never used the SVGs. that to do them. They're pretty simple to use. I use this Cricut Joy. I'm going to use my Raven Detail ink. I did ink this up just a little bit, but I did not have a ton of time to do that and get a couple other things done I needed to today. So I just put a little bit of ink in. I hope everyone had a great week. It was a fast week, busy and fast. Work was busy. Last couple days, super busy. And I was just glad it's Friday. Okay. So what I'm going to do actually is kind of cheat here a little bit. I'm going to grab my, because I want to do this just in case I mess up, I'm going to put this little piece of transparency down, and I'm going to use the little die cut pieces. Like I always cut them out and I make little, I always spread them out so I can make little negative pieces with them to stamp out. And I may have to do them separately. Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my scissors. And we'll just kind of glue those down. Now we'll have to be careful because they are slippery. But then I did just grab some Post-it note tape. I'm just going to tape it down. Of course, I've got my magnet holding that in place. Then we'll grab this girl and her thing. We'll stamp a couple extras just in case I mess up. Because, you know, that can happen, especially when we're live. And then all I do is I slip these little pieces right in. They slip in like a puzzle piece. Sometimes they fit perfectly. Sometimes they fit pretty close to perfect. They usually are good enough that they work. And then we need this guy here. And we'll stamp these guys out here. All right. So it warmed up today. We had some cooler days, and then today got to be about 70 degrees. It was pretty nice out, actually. I wore a jacket this morning to walk the dog, and I did not need that. And then I wore a sweater to work, and boy, I had that sweater off pretty quick. It was warm, and I was wearing a tank top dress today, a longer one, but it was one of those days I wish I could have opened the doors at work and had some fresh air pop in. Okay, so just in case my scene doesn't work out the way I want it to, because, you know, things happen when you're live, I'm just going to pull these little guys off, and we have them if we need them. Okay, so we're doing some kind of craziness because I don't normally do everything right on a panel, especially not, like I said, live. Usually this would be something I would work on separately. But I'm going to go ahead, and I do not have my Olo markers handy, so I'm going to grab some markers. I'll be right back. Let me grab those. I have a bunch of tri-blend markers, and we'll just use those today. Just going to grab a whole bunch of them, because I don't have them handy on my desk. There we go. Nothing super fancy. I just grabbed all of them. Hello, Carol. How are you? Purple hearts. Love it. Purple's my favorite color. And we're just going to color, and I'm not going to do anything super fancy. I've got this pale pink, and I'm just going to grab the lightest one, and that's going to be my skin tone, even though, you know, I know it could be yellow, but I'm going to make them pink. We can always add a little bit of yellow because it's just their faces. And we're not doing any really super fancy coloring. So what I'll do is I'll grab this light yellow and just kind of dab it onto, and that will kind of turn it to more of a peachy color than just pink. Just a little bit. So I'll bring that up so you can kind of see. I mean, it's peach, but it's pinky. So anyway, I'm super excited because I'm getting rid of this desk, and I got a 55-inch desk. I'm so excited. This one kind of clusterfied me in, and it's got a bookshelf right here. and I'll be able to sit under my window up a little ways. And that is exciting me so much. So I cannot wait to start putting things together. So Puppy will be very happy because tomorrow morning we're going to get up early and go for our walk early so that I can get back and get right to work. I had plans. I know I needed to pull my tomato plants out this weekend because there were not any tomatoes really grown. The tomatoes were there, but they were pretty little, and it was getting to the point where birds and things were eating them, and they weren't really ripening anymore. They weren't in the right spot for sun. So after work, we went outside and we grabbed them and got them all pulled. I am doing well. I'm glad you are doing well too. So we're just going to do some light coloring, and then I'm just going to add just a tenth of shading, which is really nice with these tri-blends because you can add, you've got all this color there. And I think what we're going to do is we're just going to use the same kind of colors. I'm going to go ahead and grab the same blue, and this is what we're going to color her. No, let's color his hat blue. And I'm going to color his mittens blue. So we're going to be kind of just very color coordinated. Very color coordinated tonight. And then we're going to make her purple because purple is one of my favorites. Well, purple is my favorite. Purple and teal. So, and I've got a couple different. So this one's hydrangea. So let's do the hydrangea, which is a lighter purple. This can be her jacket. So it's leaf looking time. So we got lots of people in town this weekend and next weekend. I think next weekend is supposed to be the peak. We haven't had enough freezing yet. Forgot her sleeve almost. But traffic's been kind of nuts. So I'm looking forward to a slowdown in winter and not as many tourists in town. Traffic has been just crazy. Okay, so I used the dark right away, so I'm not going to go back in and color with that other one. How did I end up with so many? Purple blend, lavender blend. We got all sorts of stuff. We're going to use the purple blend, though, and I'm going to use the dark. We're going to give them purple pants because, coordination. There we go. And then I think what we're going to do is I'm going to do a dark purple hat. And then for some fun, we're going to throw some teal in on her. Okay. And I'm going to grab the teal, or as much of the teal as I have. Kind of this will work as my teal. It's kind of a turquoisey color. It's called ice blue. We're going to make those her gloves. And make those her boots. And then I'll put that on her powder puff on top of her head. Giving her some fun. I'm not going to color her hair. Let me bring this up a little closer so you can see. I'm not going to color her hair just because it's got the wispies in there. And then we need to color him up, and we're going to grab... I had a red here. We're going to do red. Instead of blue, more blues, we're going to do red. We're going to do a pop of color, but we will do the mid-tone red. So I was super excited. So I don't know if you guys have watched. There's a movie, and it was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is. I believe it's a Hallmark movie because the third installment was this weekend. I saw last night, but it's called Haul Out the Holly, and it's super cute. It's about this little cul-de-sac and Christmas and how crazy they get with all the rules and the HOA. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Well, there's a Haul Out the Holly 2. And then last night, I saw it was coming out and I didn't know, but I ended up just catching it last night on Hallmark Channel. They had Haul Out the Halloween which was so exciting. It was so cute. And it had a cameo from some of my favorite Halloween, one of my favorite Halloween movies. The girl, and so if you've ever seen any, I don't want to ruin it. It's not really ruining it, but the people that were in it, they were stars of some my kids' Halloween movies off Disney, and they were in it, and it was just super fun. And I really enjoyed watching that last night. And then I think for this one, I'm going to do gray boots, brown boots. We're just going to do dark gray boots, just because I feel like boy boots don't get to be as cool as girl boots. So there we go. Just some very basic coloring. I'm not going to color in the snowballs. We're just going to leave them. And then I think for some fun, what I think I'm going to do is we're going to grab some pearl embossing powder or pearl aqua pigments. I'm just going to put a little bit down. And I'm just going to paint that on a little bit. And I have just a little water bottle here. And I'll spritz that on. And we're going to go in here like this. And we're going to do a little bit underneath for some shimmer. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard to see on camera. In person, you're going to see it. But we're just going to add it underneath just to kind of give them the process of some snow. And maybe I'll put a little bit on the snowball. And I'll see if I can shift that a little bit so you can kind of see it. It's going to be wet, but it's hard to, pearl and all those shiny things are very hard to see on camera. Here, if I go up closer, there you go. You can kind of see that. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to wipe that up. And I think for some color, we're going to bring in the lightest of light blues that I have, which is the Breakup Blue of the Simon Hurley inks. And we're just going to add a little bit of color. Let's move this stuff off to the side. Okay, just a little bit of color. So let's grab one of my blending brushes here. And I'm just going to wipe it off a little bit. You can see that as I went this weekend, they hit each other, so I got black on my blue, but that's fine. It won't hurt much. It doesn't bother me too bad. And then we're just going to grab a little bit of this blue, and we're just going to kind of bring it in from frosty edges. I'm actually thinking I'm going to cut this down. Even though I used my die, I think we need to cut this down. It's a little bit wide for my little scene here. It's a fairly easy scene. So let's make it 3.5. And then we'll chop down this to make it almost 3.5. There we go. That looks a little better. Okay. I'll save that little piece there because it was clean, and we can use that for a sentiment later on. And then we're going to go ahead and, like I said, we're just going to add a little color to the edges just to give it a frosty look. So have you guys been checking out the releases? I know we had our kitty release this week. I just got that as well. So I have so much crafting to do this weekend. So that's why I have to get up early and get this room put together. And I was able to get my hands on a release that's coming up. It's one of my favorites. I cannot wait. So I'm hoping I can get some samples done before it. And then, of course, I also got my advent calendar for Halloween, my 13 days of Halloween. I think there's 13. Yes. And I have never actually done an advent calendar before. Well, I think I did when I was little with my mama. I'm just going to go over a little bit just to put a little blue in the background, just so it's not so Well, I am going to video. So I am going to open, I know it starts Sunday. So my goal is to, if I count down 13 days exactly to Halloween, it starts on Sunday. And So I'm going to open it and create something. And I do know what the first day is. I did not watch when Christopher opened those other drawers. I decided to close my eyes and not watch. So I was surprised, but I did know what the first day is. So that I'm kind of excited about. Okay. And then I'm going to make some stuff with it. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and keep using what's in our kit here. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use this dark blue, which I don't know if we got our new colors on here or not. Yes. So this would be cobalt then, I would think. And heirloom tomato and butter is what those colors. That's what I would guess. So we're going to use the cobalt and we're going to use that as our panel. And then we're going to find some, and we're going to cut some of this beautiful paper down. But I'm okay with that because I'm just going through it quick. And let's see, let's see if we find one we like a lot. Okay, and then we start over. Let's see if I find one. Ooh, I'm thinking maybe this one. Okay, nope, we're going to go to this one. So, all right. And you know what else I saw today? I'm super excited about. I didn't watch the whole video. I watched part of it. I see there are new Simon Hurley Stellar inks coming out. So that makes me super excited because I love the Stellar inks. And I can't wait. And there was a light purple. And I said, we got to have a light purple. And he got a light purple. I'm not saying he did it for me because I'm not, but I'm so excited. So I'm going to have to figure out. I'm going to have to go order those because I love those inks. I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to 5 1/4 or 5 1/4 by 4. I cut it in half first. So I'm going to go the 5 1/4 and then, or I mean the 4 inches and the 5 1/4 because I want to be able to show a little bit of the white card base. Let's grab one of our card bases here. Oops, sorry, I shook the camera, you guys. 2 card bases. So I'm going to have that white showing, okay? And then, like I said, so far we've got this and we've got this little snow scene. I might trim it down a little bit more just because I'm thinking I want to have a little bit more of our background showing. So I'm going to trim it down just a little bit more now that I chose what I'm going to do. And then we're going to choose this and see, we're just going to use this little scene, this little snowy scene with this little background. Like I'm kind of just going to use it like it's like the kids are playing in the park or in, you know, playing outside. So we're going to cut it down to, I'm actually going to cut it down to 3 inches by 5. You know, this little piece we can throw away. This little piece I can save for something else. And we're just going to put it on and see what we think. So, all right. Got this little piece here. We've got this little seam down here. And we're going to kind of just cover up those town things, the town lights like this. It's just to give us a little extra color back there. But because I cut that down, we need to do a little bit more blending. So I'm just going to use the ink that's left on my brush and brush it down. All right. So we've got that. We've got that. We need a sentiment, right? And I'm thinking I'm going to stamp the sentiment right across the top. So let's see what our stamp set has for sentiments. I haven't even really looked at it that much yet. The city shines brighter with you in it, wishing you warmth and merry days, walking in winter wonderland, wishing you a season of you melt my heart, warm winter wishes. I think I'm going to do this, the city shines brighter with you, just because there's a little bit of city and it's 2 friends playing. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to kind of put this down here a little bit, and we're going to just put this up here. and I'm going to stamp it in right there. Okay, so let's grab our Misty. I have my mini Misty, I do. Which reminds me, I found one of my magnets on something and it's sitting downstairs on my fridge because I put it, it was stuck to my car keys and I was walking the dog and I found it attached to my car keys. So I put it in my jacket pocket. And so this morning I pulled it out when I was before I walked the dog and thought, oh, so I put it on the fridge last night so I would not forget. And what I'm going to do is instead of heat embossing, I'm just going to use our white detail ink or white not detail. I'm sorry. That's the wrong thing to say. A white pigment ink. And we're just going to stamp it out. I love the pigment ink. Our pigment ink is very bold and white. If you really wanted it super, super slacky, you know, like shiny, kind of plasticky looking, you could heat emboss the alabaster embossing powder over the top. But I'm just going to stamp it down. I'm just going to run my fingers over it. Just to make sure, because it's a very dainty. That works for me. All right, we're going to hit it quick with our heat tool. I think I have a quick version of another card we can do too. It's only 7:30. Quick hit this. Just to kind of make sure I don't smear it with my fingers. Okay. Because I am prone to do that. And then we'll go ahead and glue this down. And, I mean, you could even use this side because this is more of a city side. Looks like kids playing. But we're using that winter well. And so I just kind of I like this. It just kind of reminds me of kids playing in the street. I mean, I never played in the street, and I grew up in a small town. But when I watch movies, I think of kids in the winter playing in the street. So we're just going to put this a little bit down towards the bottom and that, and then we'll put these down. And then I think what we need to do, which I should have probably done before we put this attached. So I'm going to move this over. We're going to add a little sparkle. So I'm going to grab some Pearl Shimmer Mist, or Shimmer Splash, I should say. And I'm going to just splatter it because I feel like if they're going to play on the snow, it would be when it was snowing. And this is just going to add some fun. And the nice thing about this is that you can kind of control your splatter. And then I think I'm going to grab the sterling as well. Okay. Just to add a little bit more. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then, if, you know, you could either heat set it or just very carefully dab it. And of course, I pushed it into my glass mat, so the tape is going to stick because I already did that, but that's fine. Okay. So let's grab that. And we're going to go ahead. And I mean, look at this would be a pretty card just like this. Just like this. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy down right here. And then if you wanted to do some extra dimension, you could actually, I could actually color these and I could stick them on and pop them up and they would have a little dimension. But I'm going to be okay with this. I like the kind of one layer of, it's not really one layer, but it's a very thin looking card. Easy to mail. And so we just have this very, very, very basic card using some of this stuff from that, but just a kind of a fun little scene. And then you've got that pop of color from there. So I don't know if I got that on straight, but it's going to work. We're going to leave this the way this is. I'm going to let it sit and dry. And then let's work on the next card. I think we're going to do, we are going to add a little bit of heat embossing and we're going to do a little bit of, so we're going to add a little bit of embossing powder. That does not come in the kit. So, but everything else will, okay, other than like the ink. So I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to make this a full panel, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to use that same cobalt blue, and we're going to make a fun winter scene. It's going to be kind of a layered scene, but we're not going to do a lot with this, but I think this set is so pretty that you can add so much to it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to grab the ice skating rink, and I think we're going to do it this way. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use, I want to do sterling. So we're going to really figure out where my anti-static powder tool is. I'm going to do this really, really well. And it's going to be kind of another, I want to say basic card, but very fun, I think, because we're going to use that sterling is going to just pop. So let's find sterling here. I can find it without everything falling over. There we go. Because I thought about this at the last second, so of course. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my embossing ink. And I love the little pattern in this stamp. Now, these are brand new stamps, so I have not used them before. So I am going to stamp them a few times. And I don't want to push down a ton because they're super detailed. As the sense is they're dainty with those edges. And sometimes if you push a little too hard, you kind of warp those edges. So we're just I'm gonna grab my perfect press here from my friend Treasure. Kind of lightly press it over the top. I'm gonna spot right there. But I love these little lines. So this would be a fun one to stamp like this, and then you could cut them out and put them on top. But I'm gonna do kind of a one layered card, I think. I'm going to go ahead. Oh my gosh, this is just going to be so pretty. Look at how detailed that is. All the little skate marks. It's so pretty. So we're going to quick grab this. Oh, look at how pretty that sterling is on that cobalt. It's so pretty. Now, I'm not going to wipe that extra anti-static powder tool off yet because we're going to do some more. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. And I keep a stamp block handy so that I can just put my stamps on there and clean them after. And then we've got a couple options. There's two people here. I need to grab another magnet here. There's two skaters. So you can put both of them down. And I think I'm going to put them up towards the top because then you don't see the skate marks behind them. You could do one, but I'm going to do both, I think. Because I kind of want to do, like I said, this is like a one layer type of card. And then we'll add kind of a little something at the top. I'm going to do some more anti-static powder tool. Just because we already did that. And of course, if you get your fingers on there, you got your heat setting or your ink from your, I'm sorry, sometimes I speak way too fast. You get the oils from your fingers can stick because I picked it up, to heat emboss. So, I mean, this set actually works really well to actually go ahead and put, like I said, you could leave them like this and they would dry dark, but I want to do that silver. I think that silver will be fun. I mean, we could have done gold to kind of make them different, which would be another option, or just a fairy dust. Or this tinsel, the tinsel dust would be another one because it would just make them sparkly and that darker color of the cardstock. But I want to do silver because I just think you need lots of sparkle. I'm going to quick heat set these. Tilted in the light. So I've got this very, very simple card. Now we got to let it, look at the shine in that. Now we got to let it cool a little bit. While we're looking at the cooling, we probably should think about our sentiment here. I'm going to do let's do warm winter wishes. Okay. But I'm not going to put it on yet. I'm just going to pull that out. Now this is cool. I can feel it. And the reason I said I wanted to cool it is because if you touch it when it's hot, you can mar the embossing. But we want to wipe off that extra anti-static powder tool so that it's dark, the dark comes back again. And then I think what I'm going to do, instead of like coloring it, I'm going to grab a blue. Let's test it. Let's test it. We got a small piece here. Let's see what this blue looks like on here. Well, that's a little too dark. So I'm going to try a couple different ones here. That's pretty dark. That's still pretty dark. Let's try one of these. So it's going to make them all dark. So I don't know if I want to do that. I think I'm going to just leave them the way they are. I like make it a one layer card, but we're going to zhuzh it up a little bit. And how we're going to do that is we want a little bit more. I want more sparkle. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and center this up and trim a little bit off each side. So probably, so it's about 4 by 5 1/4 again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of Not Your Mama's cardstock because I want a little heavier piece. And I'm actually just going to use one of these pieces that have a center in the middle, which that's actually kind of fun too. You could just do like a little, I mean, like that just makes a fun little scene. I think I changed my mind. I think I want to do it this. I was going to do something completely different. But I think I kind of like that. What do you guys think? I think we need a little spit. We need a little something though. So we're going to grab the white aqua splash. And this is a trick I learned. I've learned from Amy R. I'm going to take my stamps and I'm going to very carefully slip them upside down. Just like this, like I was stamping them. And I'm going to take my little splatter and we're going to splatter in here to make some snow. And then my images aren't going to, I don't care about the ice so much, but my images aren't going to get marred with a splatter because these just wipe off. I just set them down and grab my towel and look at my images don't have any splatter on them. You can do the same thing with your sentiment. But since I'm changing everything up here now, we could make it a shaker card. But then we're adding stuff that doesn't belong. White cardstock, I don't think counts. So we're going to quick set this because we got to get that powder. Okay. I should have my silicone mat. I'm not sure where it's at. I'm just going to set it a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and do what I did before with the tap. And then I'm just going to bring it up. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this down. And it's just going to be a little fun sky. I kind of decided I like that a lot. So I can do is grab my, which changed everything I planned, but it works. I'm going to go ahead. This would be a very easy fun shaker card. You could add, you know, a piece of acetate over this and some shaker mix, and then you'd have this fun little scene, but I'm just going to make it like this. I like how that ends up popping that up a little bit. But, so it's not quite so stark white. We're going to just kind of go around the edges with just a little blue. Give it a little bit of frostiness. And this is just that breakup blue, just a little bit of that edge on the edges. And we'll tie a little more blue in by using that for our sentiment. Just to make it so it's not quite so stark white. Just on the edges, okay? And then where did I put that card base? Quick, put this on a card base. So I hope everyone knew it was our Miss Jess's birthday this week. So if you didn't see, there was, she's having a little contest. She has a birthday pickle bundle. And I believe you have to use all three. There's a dual foil, a washi, and a stencil. And if you email it to jess@burtismonroe.com, you can be entered to win. She's going to choose from the winners. You can't enter more than once. However, you do need to use all three products on your card. Ooh, so don't do that. I just cut that and it was too thick. So we got to, because there was not quite perfect card base. So we'll just trim that off a little bit here. Let's see what that looks like. That's better. Okay. Now, I think to add a little bit of extra fun to this card, we're going to add some snowflakes and we're going to add our sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the sentiment here and we're going to just center it up. Warm winter wishes. Make sure it's nice and straight as I can make it. There we go. And we're going to use this breakup blue, which will tie in more of that blue color. And then I'm going to go a little crazy and I do not like to do this, but I'm going to make myself do it. I'm coming out of my comfort zone. And I'm going to grab, do I have another acrylic block here somewhere? I should. Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, no, that's not going to work. Yes, I have it's a big one. We'll make it work. There are some snowflakes in here. And I'm just going to grab the three of them and make a little bundle on there. We're just going to add a few of those snowflakes. And you will grab a little bit of this blue. And I'm just going to go for it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to hold it there for a minute. And maybe I'll pull the big one off and do a couple here. Do a couple up here. Just going to add a little bit of extra something. Let's twist it. That looks like it's enough. That was enough. Just a little bit of something else. And then we need a little bit of bling. So, but I think what I'm going to do is a little bit of this glitter frost. So it's going to be a little crazy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of glue here. Any liquid glue should work. I am going to grab a paintbrush that I can wash really well afterwards. And I'm just going to kind of paint it around the edges here. Of course, it's not working exactly how I want it to. So instead of doing that, I'm going to very carefully, I didn't put enough glue on. I have the wrong paintbrush for it. That works. We're just going to grab our glue. We're going to go around the edge. We're just going to go very carefully. I cannot do this straight, so we're just not going to worry about it. Just going to kind of go right around the edge. The very light, I'll show you up close here quick because it takes, since it's liquid glue, it takes a little while to dry. And you may not be glittery, so you may not want to do this. Or maybe you have a different type of product that will work, but I'm going to go ahead and use some of this frost glitter from the card thing. Okay. And I need my little paper here. I'm just going to grab this frost glitter. We're just going to tip it over. I'm just going to add just a nice little, and it's going to be all over my card to start, but we're just going to tap it real good. Before I tap it off, I'm going to put this away so we don't make a mess. You know, I was putting the dog treats away and one of the dog treats fell upside down on my, and I knocked it everywhere. So he was thinking he was going to get a whole bunch of treats. And I'm just going to tap it down. And we've got a little bit of extra glitter. And I did put some on the outside. So since I had some on the outside, I am going to go back through and add a little bit more glue to the outside. Just so it works, that it's the same. Because, you know, when you make a Christmas card, a winter card, you can have lots of sparkle. Let's put a little bit more of this glitter. And it will dry. I mean, not everyone likes glitter. I understand that. But once it's dry, it's not, you know, some of it might wipe off. If you're not a glitter person, don't use it. It's fine. I think glitter's fun. I don't mind a little glitter. All right. Take that into my garbage can, and we've got this. Tap this off, and we've got our second card. And of course, that was a little wet. Yeah. Tap that off good. So there we go, you guys. We just made 2 cards. It's not 100% dry. You're going to see some of that liquid glue on there. Let me pull that up close so you can see the sparkle. We've got our silver. We've got that glitter, and you can see where it's thicker. It's going to take a little bit to dry, of course, but fun little kind of globe-looking window. And then we also did kind of a fun one like this, which this one you could also put a little glitter on. Like we could glitter the snowflake here. Add a little bit of glitter through the sky. The big thing you got to make sure you know is that sometimes your ink stays wet and then your glitter is going to stick to that too. So let's kind of quick do that one too. Since I already have it out, let's just do it. Thank you, Carol. Like I said, I just wanted to use I wanted to use the inspiration box. I knew there was still a few left in stock, and I know they were all shipped out, so people are just getting them this week. So I wanted to just use that tonight. Yeah, so you can add that extra little sparkle in there too. And that will all be sparkly and a little bit of dimension. So you could color the stamp set. You can, like I said, heat emboss it like I just did for this other one. We are going to grab this is my hint for using glitter. Grab some dry cloths, Swiffer cloths. These are just the generic ones. And you wipe it all up and you can shake it in your garbage can and the glitter goes away. You can use them over and over again. But okay, we're going to pull that back. So here are 2 cards tonight using the inspiration box and then just some inks, you know, white cardstock, and of course some markers. So I hope you enjoyed those fun little cards using that. I'm going to try to do that more often, or at least do a video, an edited video where I use just the inspiration box. But keep an eye out because I am going to make some videos this weekend and I will have them uploaded. You can also find me at Sugar Cards by Candi. That's my YouTube channel. And those will be uploaded to that if you want to see more content from me. I appreciate you guys all so much. Have a great rest of your night. And next week, we'll be live from my new craft room. So I'm all excited. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.